Well, looky here. It is the last day of June, Thursday, June 30th, 2022. We're here for our daily lectionary readings. We've got our three readings. Remember, with it being Thursday, we start to look ahead for Sunday at church. Our psalm reading is Psalm 66, 1 through 9. Our Old Testament reading is 2 Kings 21, 1 through 15. And our New Testament reading is Romans chapter 7, verses 14 through 25. Let's take a listen in to our scripture today. Psalm 66. All together now, applause for God. Sing songs to the tune of his glory. Set glory to the rhymes of his praise. Say of God, we've never seen anything like him. When your enemies see you in action, they slink off like scolded dogs. The whole earth falls to his knees. It worships you, sings to you, can't stop enjoying your name and fame. Take a good look at God's wonders. They'll take your breath away. He converted sea to dry land. Travelers crossed the river on foot. Now, isn't that cause for a song? Every sovereign in his high tower he keeps his eyes on the godless nations. Rebels don't dare raise a finger against him. Blessed our God, O people. Give him a thunderous welcome. Didn't he set us on the road to life? Didn't he keep us out of the ditch? He trained us first, passed us like silver through refining fires, brought us into hard-scrabble country, pushed us to our very limit, road tested us inside and out, took us to hell and back. Finally, he brought us to this well-watered place. Our Old Testament reading today comes from the book of 2 Kings, chapter 21, verses 1 through 15. Manasseh was 12 years old when he became king. He ruled for 55 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Hephaestus. In God's judgment, he was a bad king, an evil king. He reintroduced all the moral rot and spiritual corruption that had been scorned from the country when God disopposed the pagan nations in favor of the children of Israel. He rebuilt all of the sects and religious shrines that his father Hezekiah had torn down. And he built altars and phallic images for the sex god Baal and the sex goddess Asherah. Exactly what Ahab, king of Israel, had done. He worshipped the cosmic powers, taking orders from the constellations. He even built these pagan altars, the temple of God, the very Jerusalem temple, dedicated exclusively by God's decree. In Jerusalem I place my name, to God's name. And he built shrines to the cosmic powers and placed them in both courtyards of the temple of God. He burned his own son in a sacrificial offering. He practiced black magic and fortune telling. He had seances and consulted spirits from the underworld. Much evil in God's judgment, a career in evil, and God was angry. As a last straw, he placed the carved image of the sex goddess Asherah in the temple of God, a flagrant and provocative violation of God's well-known statement to both David and Solomon. In this temple and in the city of Jerusalem, my choice, out of all the tribes of Israel, I place my name exclusively and forever. Never again will I let my people Israel wander off from the land I gave to their ancestors. But here's the condition. They must keep everything I've commanded in the instruction my servant Moses passed on to them. But the people didn't listen. Manasseh led them off the beaten path to the practices of evil, even exceeding the evil of the pagan nations that God had earlier destroyed. God, thoroughly fed up, sent word through his servant the prophets. Because Manasseh, king of Judah, had committed these outrageous sins, eclipsing the sin performance of the Amorites before him, setting new records in evil, using foul idols to debase Judah into a nation of sinners. That is my judgment, God's verdict. I, the God of Israel, will visit catastrophic on Jerusalem and Judah, a doom so terrible that when people hear of it, they shall shake their heads in disbelief, saying, I can't believe it. I'll visit the fate of Samaria on Jerusalem, a rerun of Ahab's doom. I'll wipe out Jerusalem as you would wipe out a dish, wiping it out and turning it over into dry. I'll get rid of what's left of my inheritance, dumping them on their enemies. If their enemies can salvage anything from them, they'll welcome to it. They've been nothing but trouble to me from the day their ancestors left Egypt until now. They pushed me to my limit. I won't put up with them and their evil any longer. Our New Testament reading comes from the book of Romans chapter 7, verses 14 through 25. I can anticipate the response that is coming. I know that all of God's commands are spiritual, but I'm not. Isn't this also your experience? Yes, I'm full of myself, after all. I've spent a long time in sin's prison. What I don't understand about myself is that I decide one way, but then I act another, doing things I absolutely despise. So if I can't be trusted to figure out what is best for myself and then do it, it becomes obvious that God's command is necessary. But I need something more. For if I know the law but still can't keep it, and if the power of sin within me keeps sabotaging my best intentions, I obviously need help. I realize that I don't have what it takes. I can will it, but I can't do it. I decide to do good, but I don't really do it. I decide not to do bad, but then I do it anyway. My decisions, such as they are, don't result in actions. Something has gone wrong deep within me and gets the better of me every time. It happens so regularly that it's predictable. The moment I decide to do good, sin is there to trip me up. I truly delight in God's command, but it's pretty obvious that not all of me joins in this delight. Parts of me covetly rebel just when I least expect it. They take charge. I've tried everything and nothing helps. I'm at the end of my rope. Is there no one who can do anything for me? Isn't that the real question? The answer, thank God, is that Jesus Christ can and does. He acted to set things right in the life of contradiction, where I want to serve God with all my heart and mind, but I am pulled, the influence of sin, to do something totally different. And here ends our readings for the day. God's blessings and peace to you.